Welcome Cyber Beauties. Today we're doing a spring look with Natasha Denona palettes. I'm first using the color Tattoo and Asphalt, and then I'm using the color Shell in the green brown palette from Natasha Denona. I'm using an E27 Morphe brush, and I'm putting this as a transition before I buff out the color Tattoo. Now, one thing I did notice after I was applying my transition shade is that the color Tattoo doesn't smudge if you leave it on for a while. So you'll see me reapply the color Tattoo so I can actually buff this out with my E27 brush. So I go in and I get the smudger brush from the Elite collection and I smudge out the green so that I can have a base for the Natasha Denona palette color. I'm going in after I smudge this out with the color Tattoo, because the pigment starts to run out as much as you smudge it out to give it some coverage on the full of the eye. So as you can see, like I left it on for a lot, so then I would have to go back in and smudge it more because once you put those on, they do not budge. So you have to make sure you work fast or they will stay where they're at. And I keep just reapplying the color Tattoo because I want to make sure that the pigmentation is there. Next, I go in with 85P Pangea from the Natasha Denona green and brown palette. And then I get this the same smudger brush and I put it on top of the base. And I wanted actually a little bit darker, so that's why I went with a darker base color. Because if I actually went with a lighter base color, then that green will be lighter. So I am into like forest, dark olive greens. So after the end look, it did look olivey. So that's why I called this the olive spring look. Next, I go in with emerald green 16M and I use my MAC 242 brush and I sprayed it with Max Fix Plus to just make sure that the color popped a little bit more. It could have done it by itself, but I noticed with the Max Fix Plus, it was actually a lot brighter. So it actually turned out to be like a halo eye. Next, I go in with 88V Arizona, again with my E27 brush, and I warm up the crease area. Excuse me. And then I do this also afterwards, so that way there's no harsh lines from the green to the warm. And then I noticed it wasn't orangey enough, so I went with Sandstorm with my Morphe M433 brush. So that way it can look more of a definition in the crease. And I'm sorry that I look like I'm talking through this because I wanted to do this as a talk through, but unfortunately the voice and the background noise was so bad that I had to delete the voiceover or the talk through, and now I'm doing the voiceover. So that's why you see me talking through that. And then I get the 13V color in the palette, and this color is like very pigmented and very light, but it also like covers all the mistakes. So if you go over this with any other color that's on your lid, it will come off, which is kind of weird. I called it like my eraser. And then I try to go in with the sage with the gold green for a highlight, but it didn't turn out too well. So as you can see with the makeup wipe, I started like taking out any fallout as well as the inner corner, because I go in with a different color at the end because it didn't look as good as I was imagining. So the reason why I do that is to make sure that all the fallout is gone. It's clear. My face hasn't been done yet. So then I go in with my Inglot 77 gel black eyeliner with a Morphe eyeliner brush. I will link down the brush down below because right now I don't know the number by heart. It's a brand new brush in my collection. And I like the Inglot gel liner just as much as the Maybelline. But this, if you want this to last all night, this is the gel liner for you. And I wanted a very small wing because I didn't want it to take away from the eye because it is a halo green olive look. So I just did a very small wing. And I was trying to match it and make sure that nothing went out of the lines. And it's hard doing wing liners. Sometimes you have to hold my breath so that way you don't breathe wrong and blink wrong and then you have to do it all over again. So totally necessary for what I'm doing. So I just go over it and make sure that it matches the other side. Okay, then next I get my Precision 3D brush, and I get the Becca Brightening Eye Corrector to take away the circles. For some reason, when I do that, it's because I have dark circles in the mirror, but in the actual like footage, it doesn't look like I have dark circles. So when I'm looking at this, it's like it's not necessary, but when in person, it is. So I don't know. I don't know if it's my lighting or if it's just me thinking that there's dark circles and there isn't. But I was using my new EX1 Invisiwear foundation, and then it actually was too dark. So I got my Magic White foundation to lighten it up, and it actually turned out to be a really nice color. But right now I'm tan, so if I actually use that color, it's perfect without having to dilute it with the white. Then I get my Artiste Oval 7 brush, and I buff this out. And I usually like to use the Oval 7 because I don't like putting too much product on, and so when I don't, this will actually like put all the foundation where it needs to go. It's a beautiful foundation brush, and it's soft and smooth, and it really does its job. Next, I go in with my Urban Decay Weightless Coverage Concealer in medium light, and I put it everywhere where I need to brighten my face as well as conceal. And then I use the Black Pro Beauty Blender to blend out this concealer. I'll never stop using the Urban Decay Weightless Coverage Concealer unless there's something else that they come out with that's better than this. I think they have a permanent product in their hands that if you take it away, people are going to go crazy. So then next I go with my RC Made No Color Powder, and I go back in with my Beauty Blender to take out the wrinkles because I already have wrinkles, so they'll set and crease if I don't set this right away. So I go back in, take out the wrinkles, and then put in the RCMA powder. Now I only put the RCMA powder right there so it doesn't crease where I am. Next I'll do the Bobbi Brown Face Touch Up in Chestnut for my contour. Yes, my contour, I like it to be warm. But I also go back in with a cooler shade to set my contours with cream. So, and excuse my phone going off. I'm waiting for a phone call, so that if you hear it go off, I'm so sorry. But yes, then I get my Oval 6 brush from the Masterclass from MAC, which is the same owner of Artiste, and I blend this contour color out. Next, I get my Oval 3 brush, and I get the same color in Chestnut and put on my contour and then buff it out. The reason why I did that is because I noticed that when I put it on directly on the nose and then I try to buff it out with this Oval 3, it's too much product. So now I get Alabaster and I get the Oval 3 and I blend this out as well because when I put the contour and I was blending it out, I noticed that I darkened the lighter areas, and you don't want to do that. So next, before I set all my contours, I go in with the Skin Finish in MAC Dark, and that way when I do the contour, it doesn't go on patchy. I tend to do this only because when I use newer products, I want to make sure it's not the product it's not my face, it's the product if it comes out patchy. So that way I set my whole face with a powder and then I go in with my contour. And all the brushes I'm using, I will link it down below. I haven't been saying all the brushes, so if I miss one or two, I will make sure I put it down below. So now I'm setting it with, this is the Makeup Geek Heartwarm contour, but it was like a cooler contour for me. And then now I'm going in with MAC Sun Power. It's like the big brother of Gimme Sun. And then I'm going back in with the Makeup Geek contour to chisel out my lips so it looks poutier. Then I'm getting my white beauty blender and getting my RCMA No Color Powder to clean up my contour. And then after this, what do I do after this? So now I go in with my Monster and RDCN black eyeliner that Jaclyn Hill raves about. And I go ahead and do my waterline. Now, my thing is that I tend to have very sensitive eyes and I tend to cry a lot. But, this is my E48 and I'm going with my Kat Von D Shade and Light contour palette. And I'm doing the Lyric and I forgot the other name. I'll link it down below. But that's how I do it, so I can have some color under my eye instead of it just being no color to wipe off the bakage. And I do it also in the bottom part. That way there's some sort of color instead of it just being cleared off. Sometimes it does have some colors like white, but I don't want it to be white. I want it to be flesh tone. So then I go in, like I was saying before, that my eyes get so watery that I have to set the waterline. No matter what eyeliner it is, if it's waterproof eyeliner, I have to set it because my eyes get so watery that the color ends up just being a gunk in the middle of my eye. So I set it I went in with Dosa Color palette, the black, I think it's called Onyx, if I'm not mistaken, to set that. And then I get in my E36 and I go in with Arizona and Sandstorm mix to warm up and smoke out the lower lash line. Then I noticed that my liner was looking faded, so I went in with the Inglot gel liner again to darken it up because I like my liner to be black, like black as black can be. Okay, the next I'm going to get my Ardell Wispies, but first I'm going to do my MAC Hot and Naughty mascara, and this is what I do to coat my lashes. I like to really coat them, so that way if I see that I coat them very well and I don't need lashes, then I won't do them. But in this look, I thought it deserved it, so I got my Ardell Wispies and dual glue and placed it on with a velour lash applicator. And I love the Ardell Wispies, anything that's Ardell, because their band is like invisible and they're very easy to wear, easy to put on. And then I usually get the applicator, and because my eyelashes were still wet from the mascara, I pinch them so then the mascara can get onto my fake lashes and they can merge, so then my real lashes have to go with the fake lashes because mine tend to be straight and fake lashes tend to be curled. So that's why I always pinch them, so when I pull them up, it goes up with the lashes. Then next I go in with gold in the green and brown palette from Natasha Denona to do the highlight because I like to be blingy. So I'll put that in my brow bone area as well as my inner corner, and I just love to shine bright. And I was saying that's pretty good. Then next I get my Morphe fan brush. Again, I don't know the number, my new one, and I go in with Champagne Pop. I forgot to show Champagne Pop, but I know for sure it's Champagne Pop because that's the one I wanted to use. For some reason, it wasn't showing its justice this time around, but I think it was the fan brush. I wasn't too impressed with the fan brush. Then next, I use MAC Whirl just to line my lips a little bit, and then I noticed it was too moist, so I took out a little bit of the moisture from the Glam Glow filler. And then this is Craft by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I love this color. This is like my perfect nude. If I had a little bit of hint of brown, it would be even more perfect, but this is my perfect nude. So I hope you guys enjoyed this look, and this is my final look. I was going to do my hair, but I didn't do it. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and please subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.